Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together we're Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen, who's going to join us later in the show?
Memphis' finest. Yo, Gotti!
So
will
excited.
Be here.
So excited
will
to have
be
him
here.
on the show later. Jalen Rose, the Lakers kept me up last night. The Lakers kept me up late last night. They had the Orlando Magic in town. And Markelle Fultz.
Say it with your chest.
Former number one pick.
Say it
had
with your
himself
chest.
a night.
Who?
Markelle Fultz,
Thank
his
you.
second career triple-double. And Fultz had some huge buckets at the end of the game to give the Magic the win. The Lakers' first loss against a sub-500 team. Jalen Rose, Markelle's been balling this year. Has he finally found his spot in the league?
So, there was a time when the Philadelphia 76ers was playing against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And Markelle Fultz was getting DMPs.
Yep.
And you know what was head-scratching to me? It's right after he got his first triple-double.
Yep.
So now for him to progress and get his second triple-double at Los Angeles with LeBron James on the court, the former number one pick would never have been able to live up to the hype in Philadelphia. Everybody just got down on him. And it happens. Sometimes you don't get drafted to the proper situation at the right time. Orlando nurtured him.
Yes.
They gave him a deal this offseason before he even played.
That's when I knew. It's like I knew this was going to be a big year for Fultz when in the offseason, they didn't have to give him a new deal and extension, but they saw something in the summer and they said, you know what, we're going to lock him in for longer. That's when I knew he was going to have a good year.
You know what makes me feel good about coming to work?
What makes you feel good about coming to work?
Is when somebody's paying me. You know what makes me feel better about coming to work?
Working with
when
David
somebody
Jacoby?
invests in me like they did with
did.
Markelle Fultz.
They did.
So he's like, I got a ball.
And he gets buckets.
Because there were people that's like, they're giving him $12, $13 million this year?
The jump shot doesn't look great, but he can get to the hole and he can finish, and he got some clutch buckets. There's one bucket where he just deboed LeBron out the way.
Reverse.
He just deboed LeBron out the way on the break.
And for those that don't go deeper into the box score in NBA games, Orlando has height and athleticism. Like Aaron Gordon is explosive. He's a pogo stick.
Oh, well, why don't you take a look at some of this explosions from Aaron Gordon?
Oh, yeah.
Take a look at some of these dunks.
Talk to me.
Take me through these plays.
You see? JaVale McGee is about 5 inches taller.
Yup.
A really good shot blocker. Great court savvy. Great athleticism and quickness
And he wasn't done there.
to get off the floor.
He wasn't done with this one. I always love to throw yourself
I
off
was
the
like,
backboard.
bang, bang. I was watching
Watch
the
this
game.
one.
Watch
this one.
out.
JaVale, look out. Ah!
You nasty boy. You nasty.
I mean, I'm waiting for Aaron Gordon to take like the next step. You know, he's averaging right around 4, like a little less than 14 points a game, but I need to see him kind of get that number up.
A lot
really
of that,
take over.
a lot of that for me, Jacoby, is their style of play, and they have so many guys that they try to get shots for. Vucevic was their all-star last year. They make sure they get him his touches, but for Orlando to get a win at Staples Center, they've been playing well on the road recently, is a good dub.
And LeBron missed a shot at the end of the game. He had a chance. Well, big win for the Magic. The Lakers were on a 9-game win streak, so something tells me that they're going to be fine. Jalen, there's something that happens almost every night in the NBA. Luka Doncic. He just goes out and shows out almost every single night. But this triple-double hit different. Listen to these numbers. 25 points, 15 rebounds, 17 assists. I'm going to say it again. 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 17 assists from Doncic in the win.
When you were a young basketball player, before the games, what would you do? What player?
Pray to Larry Bird.
Say
I
that
had
again.
the Larry Bird legend poster, so before I left the house, I would just look up at Larry Joe Bird, and I'll just get a little strength and love from Larry.
And you know what else? I used to do the same thing, but in a different way. I used to have not only my favorite athletes and rappers on this side, I gained inspiration by my Jet Beauties of the Week. I did. I sure did.
Split sides. It's like athletes and rappers over here. Jet beauties of the week over here.
No question about it.
Okay.
I tell no lies. And the reason why I bring this up that makes it important
is because Luka Doncic.
Yeah, because we fight over Larry.
Okay.
You and
yes,
I fight over Larry.
I won.
Like we fight over Redman and Larry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've never compared a player to him until now. I know Larry played like a 3-4. I know he played in the post. I know the semantics of their games are different based
Very
on the
much so.
geometry of the floor. I'm talking about pace, court vision, and versatility. Larry Bird was a different kind of triple-double than Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was the Showtime, ooh, nah, pinpoint passing. But what people slept on, Larry was still getting me 25, 12, and 5 dimes too.
Yeah.
And so in the modern game, if he was facing the floor as the primary ball handler, he would look like Luka.
He would. I mean,
And I'm not saying it because of their skin. I'm saying it because of their pace.
different era, different games, but there are some similarities. Like Larry was always so good at anticipating what the opponent was going to do on both ends of the floor. And also one thing that these two have in trouble in common, they never look pressed. You know what I mean? They always seem in control of the game. They always seem like they're one step ahead on the chessboard than the other players in the game.
We have to do this one day on the show. And my bad to the producers for looking at this video now and thinking of this idea.
Oh, no.
That play right there, where he split the pick and roll and he go down and do a right-hand layup,
Yep.
that's what gave me the Larry Legend Jet Beauty of the Week flashbacks. I was like, I've seen that before. I rooted against Larry his entire career.
did you get-
Bird steal the ball underneath the DJ.
So which side of the room gave you more inspiration to perform? The Jet Beauty of the Week side or the rappers and athletes side?
It depends on what day it was.
Okay.
They all, I had inspiration from all of them.
Good.
You know, I had my
You're
Gerd
preparing.
poster.
You're prepared. Oh,
Iceman.
Yeah, the Iceman one's great.
I had the Run DMC when they were on top of the Empire State Building.
Yep.
They were like this. I had that.
Great.
But then I had the Jet Beauty. It was like 50 of them, though.
But they're small.
Correct.
Small.
Yes.
Jalen, we have.
I like that you know about that. That's why I
know.
love you.
What do you mean?
I love you.
What do you mean?
I love you.
Love you too, Jalen Rose. We have big news from the Pelicans regarding the #1 pick in the draft. Just say it, James.
The Pelicans fly.
Well, one Pelican is ready for takeoff, and that is Zion Williamson. You said that he should not play this season. I said if he's healthy, he should play, and he will be taking the court January 22nd against the Spurs.
So doing this job, you have to wear multiple hats and
What about the weight?
unique personalities. I like what you did. I'm wolfing today.
Okay.
So if I was David Griffin, and what I would do is different from what I would do with Jalen Rose to work for ESPN and Zion Williamson coming back. Of course, I want to talk about Zion and cover him.
Oh, yeah, I want to see him play.
He's taking the basketball between his legs.
But we're not even having this
To come back.
I think you have to at some point say if he's ready to play, he should play. If he's ready to play, they see him in practice. He's doing 5-on-5. They said maybe he was going to come back today. They pushed it a little bit. Like, if it's January, it's not like this is March and there's only a few games left in the season.
I'm looking forward to watching Zion Williamson playing basketball. And I want to, you know how on certain records you have to get an explicit sticker?
Yeah.
Because of the content that's
Of course.
inside of the
Of
album.
course. Shout out to 2 Live Crew.
As somebody that stopped cursing in the early 2000s, I want to make sure I say this about Zion.
What are you going to curse?
Zion Williamson is about to eviscerate some players on posters.
Yes, he is. And
Like, people forgot. Like, he about to be really dunking on people.
yes. And if you haven't
Hard.
been paying attention, Pelicans have been playing pretty well
Yeah,
lately.
yeah.
And the Pelicans are starting to put it together. Lonzo's been playing well. Brandon Ingram's had himself a real year. Like, this is going to be fun.
And Jacoby, you ready? Another reason why you got to put Zion on the floor, you got to keep him in shape.
Good point.
You got to keep him in shape.
Good point.
Because if he's healthy to play, but you're not playing him, he eating.
Oh, yeah.
And he falling asleep on the sideline.
Oh.
He eating more.
He did.
He falling asleep on the sideline.
I mean, he fell asleep in Detroit. Courtside. Well, I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm going to stay up late and watch these Pelican games.
I need to see him, Ingram, Ball out there doing work.
I'm excited for it. Jalen Rose, it is now time for some very important news that matters. There's a company in Russia that will freeze your dead body. So when technology gets to the point where they can bring you back to life, they will unfreeze you so you can come back to life later. Jalen, your birthday's coming up. You're not getting younger. You gotta start thinking about these things. Would you consider freezing yourself so you can later be resurrected?
So this may sound self-serving, and each of us have our thoughts and fears of what it would be like.
Sure, of course.
If they weren't around anymore. Okay? I'm no different. With that being said, let me get that phone number.
Really?
Yeah, let me get that number.
Really?
Dog. Let me get that number.
You want to get the number?
Yeah, I need that number.
So here's one thing I want to say though. How do I know that you're really freezing me? How do I know you're just not taking my money? I'm signing something and then you're just gonna throw me in the dumpster in the back.
I want to try it.
Give it a shot. You gonna get frozen?
I gotta tell you a secret. You dead. It's worth a try.
What
else you got to lose?
What am I saving this money for? Oh man, did you seen the movie Frozen?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? This also reminded me of something, and Rick Ross and Drake said in the record. I kind of feel like when I die, I put my money in the grave.
That's rude.
I know.
Why don't you put that money in my bank account? I'll tell you in the grave. You know what? I'm gonna make sure that we bury you in that red suit that you got drafted in. I'm gonna make sure that's the forever lasting image of Jalen Anthony Rose. Jalen, who's joining us in the studio after this?
Yo Gotti will be here with your boys.
Stay tuned. Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. Jalen Rose, who is joining us in studio right now?
I respectfully call this gentleman a young legend. Memphis' own. Yo Gotti is in the building.
Yo Gotti.
What's poppin'? What it do?
Thanks for joining us,
man. Thank you so much for coming through.
Yes,
I know it means a lot for you to be here, especially this week, because you represent Memphis and Tennessee
to the fullest,
as do the Titans, who have pulled off two of the biggest upsets we've seen in playoffs recently.
We taking it there.
Oh, really? Getting excited. I saw him getting
really? Look at that smile on your face.
Yeah, we're gonna take it all the way there.
Really?
Derrick Henry, the first running back ever to run for 180 yards in 3 straight games. Reminds me of an old school Earl Campbell. You feel like that gentleman's gonna run y'all to the Super Bowl?
He got to, man. We putting it all on him. You know what I'm saying?
And it's gonna be in Miami. Would you go down there to represent?
My ticket's already on deck.
Oh, I like it.
At the hotel?
We already planning the victory.
I like this. I like this.
I love this confidence.
We already planning the victory.
I like
because
this.
there hasn't been too much for Titans fans to cheer about recently, and now that you guys have this run going, what's the vibe in Memphis and the Tennessee area about this team?
I think everybody hype. I know my squad is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ready. We whatever they want to do, we ready to go. Turn up.
And a lot of that had to do with a quarterback change. You went from Mariota to Ryan Tannehill. And this week, obviously, he's going to be going against Patrick Mahomes, who's amazing. But you standing by your squad, and you feel like Tannehill has what it takes to get y'all to the Super Bowl?
Man, you see it. You see it.
They've been balling.
Y'all see what we doing?
Yeah, they winning.
Yeah, we on the way.
How would you try to tackle Derrick Henry if you had to?
Oh, man, I probably... You know, I'm on the same team, so I ain't trying. I'm on blocking for him. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm on the block squad.
I would just get out the way. I'd fake an injury or something if he was running right at me. I swear, I really would. So, do you have flights and hotels for Miami? That's where you're at.
I love that so much.
That's where you're at right now.
Yeah. I'm already on deck. I'm ready. I'm lined up to go.
I mean, you saw the Chiefs and the Texans game, and the Texans jumped out to this 24-0 lead. And Patrick Mahomes is just doing his thing. When you watch that game and you say, "Ooh, we have to face Patrick Mahomes," is that a little intimidating?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy game, but you know, tough challenges, man. They were champions built for.
Yeah.
And also, when did you feel like, all right, I'm going to go on and book my reservations? Was it after they beat the Patriots? Was it after they won last week?
I think after the Patriots were like, yeah, we can go and take it to. Yeah.
Well, it's been a great run for the state of Tennessee and the Memphis area specifically with the Titans, but there's also another team in town that's making some noise. Another team in town, the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are exceeding expectations. You know, they've got a lot of young players, and Ja Morant has absolutely exploded this season. What do you think about the young rookie Ja Morant?
Now, they taking care of their business, you know what I'm saying? They taking care of their business. I've been traveling a lot. I'm going to catch the right games because, I'm riding with the Grizzlies, of course. There's no question.
You got to go see them because John Moran is must-see league pass. Jaren Jackson up front is a big guy that can make threes. He'll dunk on you with the left. Brooks is knocking down threes from a distance. Do you think they have what it takes? Because they're currently in the 8th spot to make the playoffs in the West this year?
Oh, yeah. We trying to make it to the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? So I think they get it. I think they'll make it.
I think that'd be exciting. Do you ever see any of the Grizzlies out in Memphis?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kicking in the same spots.
Yeah. You ever be like, you guys got a game tomorrow. You should go home.
I got a restaurant out in Memphis too.
Oh, yeah?
So a lot of them hang out at the restaurant.
Tell us about the
what's
restaurant.
on the menu?
We're foodies.
What's on the menu?
What's on the menu?
Yeah, I mean,
Specialty drinks. What's happening?
Yeah, it's whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's a restaurant, of course. You know what I'm saying? Black owned. We open at the 5 p.m. fine dining restaurant too. So a lot of love and support in the community. The Grizzlies and all the time.
What's some of your favorite things on the menu?
Me, steak. I don't eat seafood, but the seafood good, but I don't eat seafood. So
I'll come and try it for you.
Oh, Jalen basically only eats seafood. Right?
yeah, I'm allergic to seafood. I can't eat it.
Oh,
makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's on the menu though.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
Would you
big time.
So now that Zion Williamson is about to make his debut, and there was so much hype around him, but Ja has shown so much promise. Would you rather have Ja or Zion if you could pick one for your Grizzlies?
I was just looking at this thing on Zion like this morning actually. He might be the one.
Yeah,
he a beast.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him.
And basketball is a tall man's game, a big man's game. And Zion doing freak stuff in the layup line. You see him take it between his legs and dunk?
Yeah, he going
Easy.
crazy.
Easy.
He going crazy.
Easy. Well, you're well known for your music, but also your fashion. You always put it together. It takes time and effort. It takes time and effort to look as good as you do. And JJ Redick was on his podcast, and he said that NBA players now are a little more focused on getting their pregame fit on Instagram than they are on actually winning the games. What do you think about that statement?
I don't know. I see the sauce step up. You know what I'm saying? They get super creative with the sauce, bro. Some of them a little too creative, but
that might be a little too creative.
You know what I mean? But I can't tell you if this, you know what I mean, if there's one focus over the other one. You know what I mean? Like, because I know, like, if you're a professional, whatever you're doing, you 9 times out of 10 you own it.
And you always, like Jacoby said, take pride in your fits and being fly, stuff like that. Where does that come from? Because some people care and some people really don't care.
I think it's in you if it's in you. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, to me, you don't have to spend a lot of money on the fashion. You just not know how to wear it. Like, we could be fresh in just a T-shirt. You know what I mean? A clean white T-shirt, jeans, a belt, the right shoes, and you ain't really even did too much. You still dripping. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about, your personality, who you is, what you want your personality to say. You know what I mean? I think that what clothes is more than the actual clothes itself.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. It's not. There's always the most
confidence.
expensive and the designer and the hype sneakers. But if you know what you're doing, you can pull something off without too much
Put
money.
it together.
So, being from Detroit, if I'm out and about and I see somebody else that's from the city, I say, "What up, though?" That's our term. And that lets me know, okay, we representing the hometown. When you out and about and you see people from Memphis, is there some body language? Is there some words that you guys use as a kinship?
Man, I think it's just the charisma, like, just how they carry themselves. I can tell, like, man, it's a Memphis dude right there. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, even Detroit, like, if I see the Cartiers, the Buffs, I know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Detroit, too.
We always say we have a motto here: is give the people what they want. And we have to ask you, you have to give the people what they want. When are we going to get the new album?
Yes.
When are we going to get the new album? I know it's coming.
Yes.
I'm going to put it out this month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we breaking news on Jalen Jacoby?
Just-
Can you say that again?
Yeah,
These microphones work.
And I'm going to put it out this month. I'm going to pick a date soon, but this month for sure.
There's only a couple of weeks left in the month.
Yeah, maybe any day, but this month for sure.
Do you know what the album's going to be titled?
I'm going back and forth right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You haven't
Maybe
decided.
we can help you sort it out.
So a lot of this spur of the moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, I may wake up tomorrow and that's when I'm going to put it all together. But the music ready.
So can you tell us who you collaborating with so far?
Lil Uzi, Megan Thee Stallion on there. Lil Baby on there. Rick Ross on there. A Boogie.
Heavy hitters.
I work with a lot of people. on the album.
Listen, we appreciate you coming through. You're welcome to come back anytime. New album dropping later this month. Yo Gotti.
Yeah, Moneybag, you on that, Black Youngster on that too.
And thank you for what you're doing with prison reform as well.
Really appreciate you. We'll be back with more on Jalen Jacoby right after this. BC. And then tonight at 6 p.m., we have the 6 o'clock Sports Center. They have Orlovsky talking about the Titans. And they'll be breaking down the big fight between Cowboy and McGregor. And what should the Mets do about the Carlos Beltran dilemma? All that's at 6 o'clock on ESPN Sports Center. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, the Sixers beat the Nets last night, and they got some contributions from Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. Tobias Harris had 34 points and 10 rebounds, and Simmons did his thing. And I was watching this game, I thought to myself, maybe Joel Embiid being out is going to unlock some contributions from others like Harris and Simmons and Horford and Richardson.
So no basketball team is better without Joel Embiid.
No.
So can I preface my comment by saying that?
Of course.
I'm not a fool. One of the most talented players in the entire league and probably a top 10 player to me.
Absolutely.
Joel Embiid. With that being said, I'm not against a team, for example, building around Ben Simmons. The problem is their styles contrast. They're so very talented that they're still going to be able to play well and win in the playoffs and probably make the finals and all of that. But they don't complement each other, for example, the way LeBron and AD do. Mm-hmm. Look at those clips. Please run those clips again. If you notice, when I talk about the paint being open with Joel Embiid out of the game, this is a perfect example. Out in transition, layup. Tobias Harris, drive, layup.
And that's in the
Ben
half court.
Simmons, no other Sixers are in the paint.
Nope.
If you notice. And so that's the room I'm talking about to operate for Ben and for Tobias that just isn't going to be there when you're on the floor with not only Embiid, but Horford as well.
And also just letting Tobias go out there and score 34. You know what I mean? Because he's got games where sometimes he scores 10 and he kind of just doesn't look like he's like locked in, engaged the way he was on the Clippers before they moved him to the Sixers. And I think that'll help them when Embiid gets back. Now we have to talk about the other team that played. The Nets were ahead in this game. And then they kind of blew the game. And afterwards, Kyrie Irving, after his third game back, Kyrie Irving had this to say about the Nets.
It's glaring in terms of the pieces that we need in order for us to be at that next level. And I'm going to continue to reiterate it. You know, we're going to do the best with the guys that we have within our locker room now. And, you know, we worry about all the other stuff in terms of moving pieces and everything else as an organization down the line in the summer. And, you know, it's just something that we signed up for. We knew what we were coming into in the beginning of the season. Collectively, I feel like we have great pieces, but obviously it's pretty glaring that we need, you know, one more piece or two more pieces that will complement myself, KD, DJ, GT, Spence, Karras, and, you know, we'll see how that evolves.
Jalen, glaring problems. We knew what we were getting into. Gonna have to make some changes this summer. What is Kyrie Irving doing?
So as a member of the media, you want to always applaud an athlete's honesty.
He's being honest.
He was asked a question. It was after an emotional game that they just lost. He was disappointed in his squad and himself, and he answered the question. So there's something to be said for that.
Yes.
However, when you're the best player in a team dynamic, you must make each person feel as appreciated as the other.
Yes.
When you start to single out certain players based on not only their games, but who you think has the staying power.
Yep.
He ain't the GM.
No.
He ain't the president.
If I'm Joe Harris, I'm like, wait a second. I had a good year last year.
But when you do those moves, that's between you and the front office. Don't bring it to the media and don't bring it to the locker room. It's always been acknowledged that the best players on NBA teams probably have some say in who comes and goes.
As they should.
Correct. But now all of a sudden, when you start naming names again, like DMX, you just alienated everybody you didn't name, number one. Number two, you just play bad.
Yeah, you had 14 points. Minus 29.
On 21 shots.
And you had the lead. And you're minus 29. So the glaring problem to me, looked like you. That was like the glaring problem. That the missing piece looked like you.
But here's a life exercise I want young people to really pay attention to. Because so many times when you're pointing the finger, you forget that there are 3 more pointing at you. And if I have him on my squad, Jacoby, last year they were 42-40 and lost in the first round of the playoffs. What am I saying if I'm a member of his team when the best player goes to the media and says, we don't have this and we don't have that?
You say this all the time. You say this all the time. If you're a superstar in the NBA and you're the best player on the team, you're the one who's supposed to get us the W's. You're the one. The responsibility is on you. So don't complain about your teammates and don't talk about moving pieces and the glaring problems. You are supposed to fix all those problems. You're supposed to be the makeup that covers up all those blemishes.
You mean I'm actually supposed to perform like an all-NBA player?
Yeah.
Like a champion?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means to my last point, if I look down at my squad and we got Kevin Durant
Yes.
and we got Kyrie Irving
Yes.
and that don't make me a contender, that's on them.
Oh, it's going to make... I mean,
that ain't on the parts around them. Okay? Look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference. If you have an all-NBA player, a legitimate all-star, you're one of the top teams in the conference.
oh, yeah. It only takes one in the East.
Pascal, Jimmy Butler, the Greek Freak #1 overall seed, Victor Oladipo when he returns. Like, there are those dudes in the Eastern Conference. They got 2 of them. So I don't want to be hearing about the guy that ain't set the pick or the guy.
It's like,
no.
you got a max deal, KD got a max deal. How many more pieces do we need? You know, it's a salary cap. Like, what do you want me to do? If I shot Marks, I'd be like, I'm getting a couple goons to rebound and box out, set picks for you so you can score and a couple 3-point shooters.
So let me paint a picture for you.
Okay.
Down screen is happening.
Yeah.
DJ setting it on
Yeah.
Joe Harris. Kyrie throws it to Joe Harris. He misses the shot. What is Joe Harris thinking?
He's thinking he didn't name me. He didn't even want me here. He already traded me in his head. If I'm Jared Allen, I'm like, I'm young. You talking about DJ?
That's his man.
You talking about
That's
DJ?
your man.
Like, you talking about
That's
I'm Jared
your
Allen.
man.
He's 12 years older than I am. He's on the way out of the league. I'm on a come up in the league. You're not naming me on the list? Who you gonna trade me for?
And I got news flash for anybody with the Nets. The Sixers are better.
Oh yeah, no question.
There's
about
no
that.
shame to losing to a
Oh,
better
yeah.
team.
Oh, yeah.
Without Embiid, they're better.
They're
They're going to have a higher seed. They
And
beat
also,
you in
I
the
know if you're a Nets
playoffs.
fan, you're watching these games, you're getting frustrated. Your team is performing lower than expectations. People might forgot Kevin Durant can ball.
Kevin Durant is that deal.
Kevin Durant.
That's my point.
Like-
when I look down at my squad and we got KD and
talking
Kyrie, that should be Eastern Conference Finals from the jump.
Absolutely. All right, Jalen. I can't wait for Kevin Durant to come back in this team. But moving on, Carmelo Anthony is playing in Houston. You know, he circled this one on the calendar.
Sure.
He started out hot. He was hitting everything to start the game. He finished the game with 18 points, 12 rebounds, and more importantly, big win for the Blazers who needed it in Houston. What do you think about Melo's performance?
I like that he's allowed to play in areas that make him comfortable.
Yes.
If you see these highlights, it's vintage Carmelo Anthony.
Mid-post.
On the post.
Mid-post.
Turn over either shoulder, step back jumper, or spot up. 3-point shot in rhythm. Not stand around the 3-point line and lost 10, 15 threes a game. That ain't what made him a Hall of Famer.
You remember when he had to apologize for taking a 2-point shot when he was in Houston, and now he's in Houston just wearing a different uniform, taking 2-point shots, looking right at the coach?
Well said.
He's looking right at the
Well
coach
said.
and being like, I'm not apologizing for this
Well said.
because we won this. And one of the reasons they won, James Harden.
Okay.
He's scoring 40 points all the time, putting up big numbers. 13 points. And you see what they do? They're doubling them. They're doubling them. I remember that exact play. They were trapping him. They were running people at him. 13 points, Jalen Rose. That's not that much for James Harden.
So, Jacoby, watching this game, and follow me here, was a perfect example of when keeping it analytics goes wrong. And I've talked about this, how I felt in baseball and basketball in particular, how analytics changed the game for the worst in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Here's all they did. He gets near the operating area, you run somebody at him,
Yep.
and then the 2 weak side guys, you have them basically
Sag.
rim protect.
Yeah.
That's all they did. The Spurs did it in the playoffs a couple of years ago. You suffocate the 3-line and or double him. You know he's not going to play mid-range like Carmelo we just talked about. So now we know where to find you. Like, these guys are too good, too athletic to let us know where you're going to be. And so now for Houston, it's like playing spades or like playing chess or anything else. What's the next move? If this happens in a big game, if this happens in the playoff, what's the next move? Now there's a shining, there's a light.
I know what it is.
There's a silver light at the end of the tunnel.
I know what you're gonna say.
Just freeing up Russ.
Oh, there's that. Also, Eric Gordon. Like,
Yeah.
Eric Gordon hasn't been around, and Eric Gordon, he'll put up 30. If you leave Eric, you can leave Russ from 3, but you leave Eric Gordon on the weak side, he'll put up some numbers.
But we're showing James Harden's number for the first time. He didn't have double figures or an assist in the first half. But you know what we ain't showing? Russ had a 30-point triple-double. Mm-hmm. So at the same time that you hope that could be your strategy, they also have another MVP caliber player that could take over.
Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I have an update on the way that Gabe Kapler eats chicken nuggets that's going to blow your mind.
I just got hungry.
I'm hungry too. We'll tell you what that is right after this. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we have a segment where you get to decide what we talk about on the program.
Yes.
It is called Keep It Moving. If you want to discuss the topic, just say hit the brakes. If not, me and Method Man jump in the minivan and keep it moving. Are you ready, Jalen Anthony Rose?
Would you and a wife consider getting a minivan on the East Coast?
No, hard to move around New York City.
I know.
Parking and all that.
I know.
Can't do it. Still down with the minivan mafia, though.
No doubt. Capo.
I've got good news and bad news for the Denver Nuggets. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
All right. Which one do you want first, sir?
I want the bad news first.
Jamal Murray went down with an ankle injury. X-rays were negative, but it didn't look good. There it is at the top of the screen. I was watching when this happened. The tough ankle injury, but the negative X-rays mean he'll probably be back a couple weeks.
The Denver Nuggets clearly aren't better without Jamal Murray, but they are a team that has a lot of depth.
Oh, yeah.
Morris can play a lot of those minutes. Harris can get you into the offense.
Well, you want the good news?
Yes.
Michael Porter Jr., 19 points, leading scorer of the Nuggets. You said the X factor for this team
Look at him.
was
Look at him.
MPJ.
Look at
He
him.
had 17 points in the first half. 17 points in the first
Because
half.
he's going to unlock the Joker's game as a guy that can not only shoot the three, but I want you to pay attention to something that he's doing that's really crucial. He's playing off the dribble.
Yes.
When you have guys that can get their own off the bounce and they play up front and they have a crisp hairline like he does, they have to be a problem.
You know what else? I'm watching the game like, this guy's tall. Like, Michael Porter Jr., he's tall, man. Like, he's not that much shorter than the Joker.
And the Nuggets got forwards for days and days.
They do. Jalen, George Kittle missed practice. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
He'll play, keep it moving.
Keep moving.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Can't wait to see San Fran play, though.
Jason Garrett might have a
Hit the
new-
brakes.
Oh, Jason Garrett is interviewed with the Giants about the offensive coordinator position. Jalen, do you think that is a good fit?
So let me ask you a question.
Okay, please do.
How did the Cowboys offense perform this year?
Mediocre at best.
So you're going to hire him to be the offensive coordinator after that performance that just got him fired? All right.
All right. Drew Pearson almost made
Hit the
me
brakes.
cry.
Hit the brakes.
Drew Pearson was one of the best wide receivers of the 1970s. And while many argue that his numbers and compared to his peers, he does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but he played on a great Cowboys team. But he was being filmed while he learned about his Hall of Fame fate. Let's check it out.
And you trust them to do it right. And I'm not saying those guys that got it, God bless them, they deserve it, each and every one of them. But man, it hurts. They broke my heart. They broke my heart. And they did it like this. They strung it out like this. I'm sorry.
Breaks my heart.
I feel bad for him, and I actually believe that he deserves it. If you've really been paying attention to the landscape of the NFL, even Pro Bowl players never play in the game. So ultimately, the 19th alternate ends up playing in the Pro Bowl. It's some guys that I've watched their whole career. I'm like, you made the Pro Bowl?
Matt Stafford's got a gang of Pro Bowl appearances.
I'm like, you made the Pro Bowl? And so what ends up happening is I think football does the best job of recognizing a variety of people in their game. Sometimes even questionable whether should he be in, should he not be in. Then they have the Centennial Hall of Famers. They find ways to magnify so many players. Let me tell you from somebody that grew up in 1973. And as a Detroit Lions fan, the only other game that I could watch was the Cowboys because we always played them on
Thanksgiving.
So I know their team backwards and forward. And to have Drew Pearson and Tony Hill and Doug Cosby, Billy Joe Dupree, the quarterbacks that they had, I believe like so many of their guys, including him, deserve a Hall of Fame nod.
College basketball is wild this year.
It is.
Keep moving or hit the brakes.
It's going to be wild. Keep it moving for now.
Keep it moving.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Jalen, I have Game of Thrones news.
I know that's going to make you happy, so I'll hit the brakes.
Oh, we can hit the brakes on this? They have announced that the prequel to the Game of Thrones saga is going to be titled House of the Dragon. And you know what that means, Jalen Rose? Targaryens. House of the Dragon, House Targaryen. And it will premiere in 2022. And, all right, we can keep moving. You have to hear how Gabe Kapler eats chicken nuggets. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes on this one. The Giants manager, Gabe Kapler, former Red Sox, he was trying to be healthy. So he bought 40 chicken nuggets and peeled the skin off of them, the crispy outside. Can you imagine looking at 40 peeled chicken nuggets? It makes my stomach turn.
It'll make you never want to eat it again.
Yeah, that must be the last time you ever had a chicken nugget.
If you want to get somebody off of fast food, do this experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
And then have them eat all.
Yeah, I've been into a chicken nugget before and looked at it and been like, "Is that chicken? I don't know what part of the chicken
Is that batter?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
And by the way, I know it's all fun and games until somebody get hurt. There will be zero McDonald's and chicken nugget slander.
Oh, I like some nuggets.
Yeah.
A 6-piece, though. I'm not doing 40. I'm not doing 40.
But let me tell you.
40's too many.
Hotcakes and sausage, extra sausage all day.
Jalen, we're going to have to talk about it. Odell Beckham Jr. is out here giving money to college kids.
Hit the brakes, man.
We'll talk about that right after
hit the brakes.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, as we get to the end of the week, it feels like 3 weeks ago that the LSU Tigers won the national championship game against the Clemson Tigers in the city of New Orleans. But one little instant from that evening just won't go away. And that is some of the alumni were just so excited about their LSU Tigers. One of which was this gentleman here named Odell Beckham Jr., who was giving handshakes with cash in them to LSU players on the field. I mean, aside from the fact of this just being straight up weird, it does raise some eyebrows with the people at the NCAA where such things are not just frowned upon, but against the rules. Now there's going to be an investigation. Joe Burrow went on Barstool Sports, part of my take, and said it was real cash, causing more problems. Jalen, I have a lot of questions. My number one question is, what is Odell Beckham Jr. doing?
How much do you like cash?
I love cash.
We both love cash.
I love cash.
Right? It's like breathing, then cash.
If I could bathe in cash every single day,
right.
I don't care how dirty it would make me, I'm in.
So, say it was legal for NCAA players to be paid and for alums to give money and or cash to student athletes. Say it was legal.
It's not.
Say it was legal.
We'll do this hypothetical thing.
You still don't do it like that.
Yeah, good point.
Not on the field in front of 80,000 people, in front of some CNN cameras.
Yeah.
It's just bad optics for sports, period.
Yes.
I don't care who's doing it. It could be a runner. It could be an agent. It could be a manager. It could be an alum. It's a bad look whether you at a sporting event, say you're at a high school game, say you're at a college game, and then somebody that ain't somebody's dad or mom or guardian is walking out the stand just giving away cash.
It's just an odd thing to do to someone in uniform after a football game. Like, good job. Here's a couple $100 bills.
And I know how that works. Trust me. Jefferson's a receiver. I'm pretty sure he probably let him know, you
If
get a
yeah,
touchdown.
if you do this,
I got 500 for you, or whatever, because they were trying to encourage their team. A couple of things. Number one, if you want to hook somebody up, do it off wax. You know how I feel about this.
Of course.
If you're going to tip somebody, you don't have to wave it.
Make a big show out of it.
I don't care if you're at a restaurant. I don't care if it's somebody that's helping you out. You could just give it to them.
There's another video of what looks to be a police officer in the LSU locker room trying to stop them from smoking cigars. Joe Burrow famously smoked a cigar. And then Odell Beckham Jr. comes over, and it looks like he gives the police officer, not cash, a smack on the backside. I think Odell Beckham Jr. was very excited about this LSU Tiger win.
Now, that part, I ain't mad at. He's living his best life.
I mean,
my squad won, probably had some beverages, enjoying the game.
I think that part might be true. I mean, I don't know what Odell Beckham was up to.
Let me tell you something.
But he probably had some beverages.
I'm tempering what I say because let Juwan Howard and Michigan win the championship. Just think about, you know how I'm going to behave. I sent the email the other day like, wait a minute, he gave him beats? We can do that? I can't even run. Like, we can do that?
Jalen, I have a LaMelo Ball update.
But I like Odell giving back to his squad.
I have a LaMelo Ball update.
Hit the brakes.
Well, he has ended his season because he has a bone bruise in his foot. He's going to continue to rehab it. He balled out down in Australia. Do you think he did enough in Australia to garner himself the #1 pick in the NBA draft?
Not just in Australia. This last handful of years that normal players are in high school, how he's traveled abroad, different cities, domestically, internationally, to play the game that he loves.
I hope he's #1 pick. I would not want to be a GM that passed up on LaMelo Ball. Jalen, we spent Tuesday night campaigning in Brooklyn to get Big E a statue outside of Barclays, and a mission has not been accomplished. We still need a statue of Christopher Wallace, Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, outside of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and we will not sleep until it is done. But he has been recognized. It's been announced that he will join the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on May 2nd. What an honor.
That's dope. And for those that didn't really get a chance to appreciate the gravity of Biggie's lyrics, he had bars.
Yeah, bars.
Like, I know that sometimes the radio cuts and you hear the old school beats and people singing along with the hooks, but his album cuts is why people consider to ever spit lyrics into a microphone.
So, Jalen, we went to Barclays and campaigned to the people. What's our next step in the movement to get the statue outside?
We got to keep campaigning.
I think we must have to build it and then take it out there in the truck and just put it there.
That's
where we're at now. We want to thank Yo Gotti for coming through. We'll be back tomorrow, ESPN 2.
Appreciate the love,
At
Yo
2.
Gotti.